Is your Windows 10 computer failing to start up? In this video, I'll show you how to reset Windows 10 and get your computer working again, and you should be able to do this without losing any of your files. This is Dave's Tech Rescue, where I solve your problems with computers, internet and technology. If you have a question you'd like to ask me, leave it in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer it. And remember to subscribe so you don't miss my next video where I might be answering your question. A couple of weeks ago I made a video on how to reset your Windows 10 computer, but that was for a computer where Windows 10 would start up and was working. And in the comments, Ken Co asked, can you reset the computer if Windows 10 won't boot? Well, I'm going to show you two ways to reset a Windows 10 computer that won't start up. First, I'll show you how to reset Windows 10 using the built-in recovery tools in Windows 10, because even if your computer doesn't start, it should still load into the recovery tools. And in case that doesn't work for you, I'm going to show you how to borrow someone else's computer to make a Windows 10 installation USB, and then we'll use that USB to install Windows 10 on your computer. Either way, the plan is to reset Windows 10 on your computer, and when I say reset Windows 10, I mean it's going to work like new again. None of your usual programs are going to be installed, and you'll have to spend some time afterwards getting it set up the way you like it again. As for your data, that's your documents, photos and other personal files, both of the methods I'm going to show you will give you the option of keeping your data if it's possible and if that's what you want. But of course you can erase your data as part of both of these methods. So let's get started. The first method I'm going to show you uses the recovery tools that are built into every Windows 10 computer. If your computer is failing to start up, you're probably going to see a screen like this, where you see preparing automatic repair, then diagnosing your PC, and then it says your PC did not start correctly. If your computer doesn't do any of this, don't worry, you'll just need to watch the second method later instead. But if you do see this, click Advanced Options. Now we're into the recovery tools and you need to click on Troubleshoot. And then click on Reset this PC. And here you've got the option to keep your files, or you can remove everything. Most of the time it's a good idea to choose Keep My Files, so I'm going to click this. Then read this notice and confirm that you want to go ahead by clicking Reset. And then you have to wait while Windows is reset. When it's finished, Windows 10 starts up as normal and you'll be able to go into a folder like Documents or Photos and just check that all of your files are still there. I know that this method doesn't always work, so I want to show you a second method now where you use another computer to make a Windows 10 USB. When I'm working on a Windows 10 computer that needs to be reset, I find that it's much more likely to succeed if I prepare a Windows 10 USB first. For this you're going to need another Windows computer and a USB memory stick with a capacity of at least 8 GB. I know this isn't very convenient, but this method is much more reliable than the first one I showed you. So get your USB stick and plug it into a working Windows computer. If you have any important files on the stick, then back them up before you start because we're going to be erasing the stick. Now go to the following website. I've put a link to it in the description. Look for where it says Create Windows 10 Installation Media and click Download Tool now. Now run the tool. We don't need the website open anymore, so you can close it if you like. Now you just need to follow the instructions and prompts on the screen, so click Accept here. And there's a fair bit of waiting around while this tool gets things ready. When you see this screen, click Create Installation Media because we'll be making a USB drive, and click Next. Now this page is important to get right. It's chosen a version of Windows 10 that will work on this computer, but remember this isn't the computer that you're trying to reset. So I'm going to remove this tick. I'm going to keep the language, and there aren't any options for edition. It will actually include all editions, including Windows 10 and Windows 10 Pro. But for architecture, I like to choose both, just in case. You can then hang on to the USB you've made for fixing other computers. Leave this on USB flash drive and click Next. I can see my USB here, so I'm going to select it and click Next. Now wait while the tool downloads Windows 10 and writes it onto the USB stick. I'm fast forwarding this because it takes a while. Then it will say it's finished and you can unplug the USB. So now you've got a USB stick that you can use to install Windows 10 on any computer. You need to plug this USB stick into the computer that you're having problems with. Now we need to switch the computer on and tell it to get its instructions from the USB. This is called booting from the USB. Every computer is different, but on this computer I can boot from the USB like this. I turn on the laptop, then immediately I press the F9 key repeatedly. Then I can see a list of devices. I need to choose the USB drive using the arrow keys on my keyboard. Now I need to press enter to select that. This is the screen I was expecting to see, so I know we've booted from the USB now. Now I'm going to choose 64-bit, because most computers are 64-bit, and then we have a short wait. Now I'm just going to check that I have the correct language in all these boxes, and click Next. And click Install Now. Now it asks you for a product key, and don't worry, you probably don't have one. It does say if you're reinstalling Windows, select I don't have a product key, so click on I don't have a product key. Here you need to choose an edition. If in doubt, go for Home if the computer was bought for home use, or Pro if it was bought for a business. Some computers have a Windows sticker on the case. If it's just Windows, then it's Home, but if it says Pro, then it's Pro. The computer I'm using is Windows 10 Pro, so I'm going to click on that, and then click Next. Now you need to accept the terms, so tick this box, then Next. Now we have two options, and we need to choose Custom Install Windows. Now I know the other option, Upgrade, says it will keep your files, but don't worry, the Custom option will let you keep your files too. Now we need to choose which drive you want to install Windows onto. This can be quite tricky to work out, but if you look at the size of each of the drives, you should see one big partition that has a couple of 100 gigabytes of storage. Normally that's where you want to install Windows. If you want to have a clean start with your computer, you can click on each of these lines and delete each partition. And then when you click on Next, the installer would sort out the partitions for you. But obviously you're going to lose all your files if you do that. I want to install Windows onto this big partition here, so I'm going to click on this line, then click Next. And this message just confirms that any files that I already have on the computer will be moved to a folder called windows.old. So click OK. And now you need to wait while Windows is installed. Once Windows is installed, you just need to answer a few setup questions, like the region and language, and you need to choose a username and a password, and so on. And then you'll see the Windows desktop. If you chose to keep your files earlier, then now's a good time to check up on them. Go into File Explorer and into the C drive. Now go into windows.old and you'll find your files in the Users folder. If you find that your screen looks a bit blurry after reinstalling Windows this way, then you'll need to reinstall the drivers. Normally you can just connect your computer to the internet and it will download the drivers on its own, and within about an hour your screen will look clear and all your devices will work. But if your drivers don't work, then check out my video here on how to update your drivers. Please give this video the thumbs up if it helped you, and let me know in the comments below how you got on. If you'd like to see more videos from me, click on my face below and hit the red subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.